Hey everybody, Hop Sauce here, coming at you with some information on. Thought it was very important to zoom out and take a look at the big macro picture of the crypto market. That's one of the areas that I failed to do when I first came in. I was just all worried about the technical pieces on how to buy crypto and put it in your, self-custody wallet. What is cold storage? That whole thing's a different discussion. But remember, this channel, I'm here to help young investors as well as new investors who are looking to come into the crypto market just to do it a little bit quicker, right? To prevent some of the hiccups that I came across. And all the information's out there. You can always do your own research, and you should, no matter what. But today I'm here to help you understand the macro picture of how this all goes down, right? So what I want to show you is the Bitcoin halving chart. There's a bunch of them out there. Here's one that I would like to share. So if you look at this thing right here on the first cycle, okay, sorry, that was my there it is. The first cycle, how this thing went down was back in 2013. Okay, scoot it up a little bit. See that red happening right there? This is what we're talking about today. Okay, so in 2013, if you look at this chart, and we'll have the price indicators here, follow this little line up to where it shows $10 up on there on the left. I don't have my cursor up there. Where it's at $10 and go straight down to the red where it says halving. After that halving back in 2013, look what happened to the chart. Boom, 10x pump. Okay, what the halving is, it basically cuts the supply in half. However many Bitcoin there were at that time, the halving cuts it in half, therefore creating the supply and demand issue that we've all heard, right? In the macroeconomics class 101, less supply creates more demand, right? So we had it, things settled down a little bit. Remember, this is pretty new back in 2013 in the crypto market. Boom, another 10x pump once people kind of got a clue of what all this meant. So we moved sideways for another 4 years, ladies and gentlemen. That's the cycle. This crypto market goes in 4 year cycles, and that's what we're talking about here. The next 4 years in 2017 was another halving. Okay. Investors had a little better idea what this meant. We didn't get too excited. People kind of limped in, and it moved sideways. Okay, until what was it, 6, 7 months down the road? Boom, we had a 10x pump. Okay, another cycle. Move 4 years sideways. This is where I came in to the crypto game about 2020 when COVID hit. I came in at 2018. I bought some Bitcoin. I didn't know what it was. But in 2020, I had some time to start studying it up. And I didn't understand the macro cycles here. And so the halving, I'd heard of it, but I was a little bit past. I didn't really understand what was going on here. But if you look, the chart, there was another pump. Okay, I don't know how many X that is, but we had a pump after that last bull run in 21. Okay, and it wasn't that exciting. There were some economic factors that occurred here. I believe the presidential campaign kind of stunted things a little bit. And so we had some profit taking. It wasn't as exciting as the previous cycles. And then we moved sideways. Okay, so here we are in 2024. Look what's happened here. Okay, another election occurred. We've moved sideways for about a year, had a slight elevation, right? We hit that 100,000 mark. The light line across the top here is the 100,000 price level. Okay, now from there, what we have to understand on a macro picture is this. It's a term coined by Raoul Powell. He's one of the most renowned macroeconomic investors. His company Real Vision. They have unbelievable information, but he has this term called the banana zone, which he says, "Don't f this up," is kind of his slogan. But here it is here. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Each one of those cycles that I just showed you are defined on each block of this chart. Okay. Now look at what happens. This gets a better look at the pump. Each phase of this halving. Look at the price increase on each one of these things. That first block, the first block over here was back when I was saying in 2013. This was the second bull run, 2017. Here's the 2020 did well. Look at the last block here on this chart. This right here is where we're sitting at, but this stopped in 24, so we're missing January, February, March. This thing backed off even more with the uncertainty of the tariffs and everything like this. So we haven't even hit phase 2 of that banana zone. Look, who knows what it's going to do? Who knows what the overall market is going to do? But in historically speaking, something is going to happen. We are going to have a run up after April 2nd, is my speculation. Once the economic conditions settle down, we see how these tariffs play out, how the manufacturing numbers. That's another indicator that we really have to look at, is this ISM number, the manufacturing number within the United States. Historically, whenever it's hit 50 or above, the banana zone hits. Okay, so there's a pump in the market. We're right now sitting at 50.3. So we have recently just tipped that 50-point mark, which is something to really keep an eye on. It's the ISM. And like I said, the tariffs have created this sideways movement a little bit longer than in the past, but that's just how market goes. Okay, but this is the first time in cryptocurrency history that the government has been supportive and is looking to regulate things properly. Once that comes in, there has been some cases that have already been dropped. That case against Ripple, the SEC dropped. That's good. That's good. Amazing. That's a different video, but man, it's fun stuff right there. Bitcoin doesn't excite me because to double the thing is only like a 1x. Remember, Bitcoin is at the top market cap, and its utility is store of value. It's like owning gold. When you buy Bitcoin, it's like owning a piece of gold, a gold coin. It's you're just going to hold on to it because you know that your money is not going to be depleted. It's going to be there for years to come in future. So that's what Bitcoin is. Now we're also looking at now the bull and bear market phases. Try to get good at learning about support, which is at the bottom on a chart, technical analysis. Resistance is at the top. So what I learned, if you can get good at support and resistance levels by looking at the last 52 weeks, what is the highest number and what is the lowest price? Okay, so those are good spots to start with identifying support levels and resistance levels. And so over time, you'll start to see more smaller support and resistance levels. And that's, you want to try to purchase on that support line. And it happens plenty of times along the year, right, and so multiple years. But get better at just studying support and resistance. Google it, and it's just different price points when to come in and maybe when to sell. Okay, so that was some indicators that we like talking about. But anyway, that's kind of how we determine if we're on a bull type market when we hit the bottom support. That's what I do with my stocks. I try to draw lines on my technical chart to find the support and resistance and then make buying decisions on that as well as profit taking. Okay. So, with that said, everybody, Thanks for joining in here. Remember that macro picture and where we're sitting right now, we have not even done what we should be doing. What we're going to see once this phase two banana zone hits and it starts to pump, people take profits, and that money is going to move into smaller market cap projects. For example, XRP is actually it's like number three on the list, three and four. It trades off with Tether, but look on that list. Get on CoinMarketCap.com and look at market caps and think about putting a little bit of money into the smaller market caps before this big pump, bull run, Bitcoin thing takes off. With that said, stay tuned, everybody, one day at a time. Always look at crypto bubbles to see what the market's doing. It's kind of like an artistic feel to things. And then we'll be checking in to see what stage we are moving in this direction. Let's just wait till after April 2nd and see how this macro view takes place. All right, that said, everybody be patient, thicken up that skin, get outside, do some physical activity, get your mind off the stress that some of this might bring, right? This investment stuff, and we'll go from there. All right, until next time, peace out.